It's International Cheese Day today, and this year Australia's specialty cheesemakers have something to celebrate. They're still in business and thriving after a year when bushfires and COVID not only stalled their cellar door businesses but threatened their very financial survival. Sam Panney is from Cheese Therapy on the Sunshine Coast, and he threw them a lifeline and in 2020 distributed 4 tonnes of cheese a month from artisan cheesemakers all over Australia, including remote areas in Queensland, the Northern Territory and Western Australia. Happy International Cheese Day, Sam.
Good morning, Kathy. It's the best day of the year, isn't it?
Oh,
but I think every day should be this.
Every day should be International Cheese Day. So what cheese are you going to celebrate with today?
Oh, I've actually got one of our specialty, it's a box that we call the therapy box. It's got 4 different makers in it. So I've got something from Tassie, I've got something from South Australia and Victoria. It's, just try to mix it up, something new each month. It's great.
So let's go back to this time last year, and a lot of cheesemakers weren't celebrating, were they?
No, they certainly weren't, particularly our ones in New South Wales, Victoria and South Australia. This time last year, of course, we had those devastating bushfires, and many of our cheesemakers, their farms were directly affected, so that they, some of them, one in particular in New South Wales, had to evacuate their entire flock of sheep. But others as well, for example, Millawa in northern Victoria, basically had to shut their cellar door for the entire Christmas tourist period. And that had a huge effect, as you'd imagine, because Millawa, like so many of these other cheesemakers who have a cellar door, rely so much on tourists to come and see and taste what they have. And so they lost about 90% of their entire Christmas trade. And so they had made a lot of cheese for that period, a couple of tonnes. This time last year, Millawa put the call out to us, and we then basically just asked Australian cheesemakers need some help. Can you help? And I tell you what, Kathy, that's what Australians are great at, stepping up, and when Australians need some help, they're always willing to lend a hand.
And how did you give that help, Sam? You're on the sunny coast. They're all the way down south.
Yeah, I know. Can you believe it? So we're an online business, Cheese Therapy. So we send cheese right across the country. And so for Millawa, basically, they had a couple of tonnes that they desperately needed to clear to keep the doors open. So now Millawa has been going for about 40 years. In 2019, the end of 2019, they were actually in quite a bit of strife when they hit these bushfires. And they were seriously thinking that, this is the end of us. We're, pioneers of the industry, but we can't keep our doors open.
So what did you do exactly to help them?
Yeah, so what we did was we created a box of Millawa cheeses and put the call out through our social media, through our Facebook page, just asking Australians to help. And in the space of about 2 weeks, we sold all of that entire 2 tonnes of cheese. And obviously kept the doors open for Millawa. And then only a couple of weeks later, when we hit March, we rolled straight into the COVID lockdowns. And as you can imagine, every other cheesemaker in the country started calling me up and just saying, "Look, Sam, we need you to do what you did for Millawa." And we just had to help. We didn't have a lot to lose. We're an online business, so we run lean. And so Australians, everybody felt desperate at this time. So we just put the call out once again, just going, okay, first it was Millawa, but now it's an entire industry. So
you provided like a platform, a distribution platform.
Yep, exactly. So we represent about 17 cheesemakers now, all small artisan makers from right across the country, and just deliver to people's homes wherever they are in the country. And it's just been absolutely beautiful to be able to share what these small, passionate cheesemakers do with people right around the country. It's a real treat and an honour for us at Cheese Therapy to be able to do this.
That sounds like it's been the most rewarding part for you.
Oh, it certainly has. And Our cheesemakers through 2020 have actually had their best year on record. So Millawa, been going for 40 years, 2020 was actually their best year because Australians really wanted to buy Australian produce. They got behind these businesses that have been struggling for so long. And, let's not forget the struggles that the dairy industry has had for decades now. And Australians just went, you know what? Enough's enough. We're going to buy great Australian cheese. And so that's why so many people just came straight to cheese therapy and realised that wherever they were in the country, they could get it.
Well, thank you, Sam. I hope you have a lovely International Cheese Day.
Oh, I'm about to tuck into some cheese right now, Kathy.
Okay, I'll see you later. Thanks, Sam.